legal framework that could get challenged and whether we're getting into a quagmire of sorts. And for that, Aman Lekhi is joining us to get us. He's, of course, a lawyer at the Supreme Court of India. Aman, good to have you with us. If an AI chatbot defames or abuses someone, who is legally responsible? Is it going to be the company, the coder, or do you think it's AI itself?
Well, the company will be responsible, you see, because of various issues to it. One, it can amount to negligent misrepresentation for which those employing the AI system would be held responsible. Two, there'll be various copyright issues also because it draws upon information, can be copyrighted information. There can be, and there's some cases that are pending where this issue has actually been raised. Three, there'll be privacy issues which can also come because it can be an unfiltered use also of data over which we have got some element of privacy. Four, there can be defamation. Five, a host of criminal cases which can actually come. Well, the equation for this is because the controversy here is I was just happening to hear your conversation. This is data driven. And because it's data driven, it's mandatory that the data be broad based. But the problem here, which AI is, and which is something which all of us are talking about, that insofar as the use of data is concerned, it has inbuilt into it biases. Biases, it can be cultural, it can be political slants also. Various examples which actually come. Now, in a post-truth area in which we actually exist, half-truths on the basis of whatever maybe is slanted information which is given by AI will create some kind of half-truths which will be in play and fuel conspiracy theories, which is what we are seeing here today. We have various instances of comparing political leaders, talking about press conferences, etc. What you have to keep in mind is that as far as this aspect is concerned, it's not something which is objective truth, which is to be accepted as something which is unvarnished of anything which is false and which is in some way an objective reality. And it is a fact, whoever makes the AI, it is a fact, and it's been documented, whether it's concerning minorities, whether it's concerning ethnicities, or whether it's concerning political leaders. It is a fact that as far as AI is concerned, yes, the biases, etc., actually interplay with the information which is actually given. So yes, this is something which will also come up in the context of the data protection law, because it's as far as the digital data protection concerned, because this is also it's data driven. Right. How to deal with data. So that act is also talking about this being embedded. You were talking about this in the earlier conversation, how to embed into the AI system. Yes. But that is a conundrum. You limit the information, you affect the output. Right. And you are in some way vulnerable to the outcome.
You know, India has taken strict actions already against digital platforms. That has happened in the past. But given Grok 3's unfiltered nature, if you can call it that, do you think we could see regulation or even a ban on it?
Well, there must definitely be regulations. The question is, I had occasion to see some of the replies that it gave, and it's obvious because one is what is very important is this is not a rule-based AI. This is a more evolved system. When it's a more evolved system, it hits on the intent of the person. Now, that's what it basically seeks, because it basically seeks, insofar as that is concerned, then that plays with a data set. Now, data set itself, supposing has a slant, and the intent is actually detected to mean wanting to move in a particular direction, then the answer which you will get is not necessarily an answer which is the real answer. The answer till there will be more or less like an anchoring bias kind of a thing. We want to hear something, and we get to hear that thing also. So the AI panders to our instinct. Instead of offering something which is in fact true, it says something which you want to hear. Now, when it says something you want to hear, that is not necessarily the right information, because whatever we want to hear may not necessarily be the truth. Exactly. So that creates a problem which is over there, and that is basically key.
Yes.
What is most important is that we have to be critical, and we should be knowledgeable on all self. That AI is a very important tool, but to just abandon everything to an AI and then rely upon AI for everything which AI gives is something which is utter foolishness.
It may be so, but meanwhile, we do have AI and we do use it. So if Grok 3, for example, like you're saying, it spreads misinformation, how is the law going to deal with false content that is generated by artificial intelligence, not by a human?
Yes, absolutely. So there'll be cases galore, because if there's misrepresentation, and there's misrepresentation, there'll be fines. You'll file a case over there as far as the information is concerned is wrong. As I pointed out, there'll be cases where, okay, some information is meant not to be disclosed. That is something which is how do you access that information, privacy. There's some information like what ANI has done. there is some copyrighted information. Now, copyrighted information in the usual play, whether it is something which is playing upon using one's own creative endeavor in maneuvering information in a particular form, is it actually drawing upon it to present something which is not yours as your own. So all these things, this will lead to a spate of litigation. Cases have already started.
But cases against whom?
More.
Where do you see
And
the majority of cases, they will be filed against whom?
as far as the cases are concerned, it's like nature of the, what is the nature of the AI? Like supposing SBI. SBI has got a chatbot. SBI chatbot dealing with multiple customers.
Yes.
Now, in the course of the conversation, a misleading information is given. Now, SBI can't say, see, this is AI, because SBI is presenting it virtually as a virtual assistant.
Right.
Because presenting it the virtual assistant in that way, SBI cannot wash its hands of it, because SBI is presenting it's like an attorney. You present someone to act for you. As long as you do it, you have to take responsibility to what you undertake. If you take responsibility, what to take, you have to face the problem. You can't just blame it on someone because they're using it. As long as you're using it, you have to make sure that as the use is concerned, doesn't cause injury. And whenever there's an injury, there's a cause for legal action.
Right. So already our IT laws, they regulate platforms, WhatsApp, social media. So now AI chatbots, will they fall under similar scrutiny, or do you think we need an entirely new set of laws?
I think we need to evolve law, adapt it, and in fact, enlarge it to deal with because you see, to deal with an AI related thing would be slightly more complex because of the nature of this particular design. It's not something, and as far as law is concerned, you see, law is evolving, and the existing law can be interpreted to apply to this too. But rather than to use jural forensics to deal with it, considering the nature of the problem, and this is in fact new and evolving field, covering a host of circumstances, a host of aspects, it'll be better that we deal with it because there'll be some kind of overlap with the law as it exists today.
Yes.
There's no dispute about that.
Right.
But the overlap will necessarily create issues which have to be answered through a law which is actually more precise rather than our using our imagination and intuition and then our training to in fact adjust to what we actually see.
Yes.
It's better than black and white, which we can actually apply.
So now if an AI chatbot can think and generate original responses, at which point does copyright law kick in to the kind of content that is generated?
The copyright law, that depends upon this. That will vary from case to case. That is, the output generated, what is the nature of that particular output? What has it drawn upon? How is it commented? What it has commented, is it commenting for itself? What it has commented is actually borrowed completely from what is already over there, but is something of a fair use of information which is there for presenting it. Now there are a host of issues that will come. It has to be decided on a case to case basis as to when, to what extent, if at all, there will be liability.
I wanted to also ask you, because we've seen AI mimic voices and clone personalities, even generate deepfake content, something that we've been very wary of. The Prime Minister has spoken about it as well. How do you think laws can keep pace with, this technology? It's rapidly evolving, and we are seeing AI also influence elections and political discourse, even public sentiment. So how big is the legal challenge that we are talking about against AI-driven misinformation, especially in a democracy like ours?
Legal challenge is only a very minuscule part of this particular problem. And as far as the real problem is the emotional impact which the information is actually give, which can in fact create a tumult. Now, going to court is an individual action, and you have a person who's aggrieved by what the person is affected by, and that takes, considering the nature of the judicial system, will take a long time for there to be resolution. These matters may be decided faster. The problem with AI would not be so much the capacity to have legal recourse. The problem has to be preemptive as to how is it that we manage the system so as to in some way address the possibility of the larger turmoil, which we are already seeing today. We have got a polarized society today. We are talking about AI, and we are saying that we are attributing motives, and not necessarily, I would say, without cause. Attributing motive, trying to find out who's actually moving this particular AI-generated tool, whether it is in some way in the hands of a political party or not. So we are moving away from this particular technology.
Yes.
And in some way discrediting it on the basis of our reference to absolutely issues unrelated to AI. That is the problem. We are already a deeply divided society. As far as we are concerned, there is a sharp division. There's
Yes.
a sharp there in any case. And unfortunately, and because we're in the post-truth time, we are actually in the post-truth time, there's already such an abundance of misinformation and falsehoods over there.
Yes.
If AI adds to it, as it's quite possible it can, because the manner in which the data sets are made, the consequences will be very rather disastrous for us.
Yes, indeed. And we are extremely wary. Thank you for helping us navigate. This is a legal tightrope that we are walking when it comes to AI. Chatbots are getting bolder. One thing is for sure, the law is going to have to catch up, and very fast, because technology is moving faster and we'll have to keep our laws in pace. So there you have it. Aman Lekhi, thank you very much for joining us on this edition of India Tonight. Grok 3, either a great game changer or a ticking time bomb, depending on how you look at it. The future of AI is here, or just a lawsuit waiting to happen. We'll have to figure that out, but regulators cracking down. The next phase of AI's evolution is going to be even scarier. We've got to keep questioning everything and not just let AI do all the thinking for us. We'll take a quick break on that note. On the